You're not just a number computers can trace. Christ knows your needs, your name, and your face. Proclaiming Jesus Christ who knows you and loves you.
This is the Kids' Hour on the Harbour Light.
The Adventures of Sailor Sam. Hear the creak of the rigging? Listen to the wind whip the sails. Yes, boys and girls, Sailor Sam's big schooner, the Porpoise, plunges swiftly through the waves, eager to serve her master. Where's she going? Wish I could tell you, but we'll have to find out from Sailor Sam, an adventurous young man whose hunt for scientific truth takes him anywhere. Yes, anywhere. And with him go his two young cousins, Buddy and Nancy. Aye, aye, mate, it's full speed ahead now for seafaring thrills with Sailor Sam. This is a tense moment aboard the Porpoise. All hands wait for the killer whale to attack as the sleek schooner cruises inside the half-mile circle of 25-pound charges of TNT. Although the Porpoise has a full spread of canvas, Ole's skillful handling of the wheel retards the schooner's speed. Ole can, however, send the Porpoise leaping forward by a simple turn of the wheel in case a sudden burst of speed is needed. Harpoon Johnny is ready at the harpoon gun. Buddy stands near Johnny so he can help with the ammunition. Also press the short wave key that will set off the TNT. Hazel and Nancy are amidships with life jackets on. Sam is standing port side just forward of the mainmast. He's watching the sea with binoculars.
Trim your luff, Ole. Keep her close hauled.
Aye. Did you see something?
I thought I did.
What was it, Sam?
Just a large wave, I guess. Cut your speed and go back to cruising, Ole.
Aye, Skipper. You think the killer whales left these waters after we chased them away the other day?
I don't know, Johnny.
Oh, no, he's gonna have to wait out here.
All night, if necessary.
Oh, Hazel, I'm just plain scared.
Well, I know this waiting is hard, honey, but don't be frightened.
Aren't you?
No, Nancy, I'm not. I have faith in Sam, and I'm trusting the Lord to help Sam and the boys kill the mad fish. Anyway, we asked for it, didn't we?
Yes. I'm so glad you're around when things get tough, Hazel. What you always say is so soothing.
Well, I'm glad it is, honey. You see, the Lord has been awfully helpful to me through some trying times. And, well, I've learned to trust him, no matter how dark things look.
I trust him too, Hazel. But I guess I let old Satan put doubts in my mind occasionally.
Well, Nancy, when that happens, you just pray and trust.
Say, maybe we should pray now.
Well, that's a good idea, Nancy. Let's do it while the boys are waiting for the killer whale to attack.
Well, Captain, it looks like our murdering friend's flown the coop.
I'm afraid you're right, Johnny. It's past midnight and not a sign of him yet.
Think we should pick up the TNT floats and go back to the harbor?
Well, if we don't get action in another hour, we'll quit for the night.
The moon's going down, Sam.
Yeah, it'll be dark black in half an hour.
Maybe that's what the monster's waiting for.
It's possible. Let's get back to our stations and keep a sharp eye, lads. What do you see on the bow, Johnny?
All's well, Skipper.
What do you see on the stern, Ole?
All's well, Captain.
What do you see, midship watch?
All's well, Sam.
The moon's almost gone. Keep an extra sharp watch, lads.
Killer whale!
Fire away!
5 points off the port bow!
I see him. All hands, man your battle stations.
All hands rush to the battle stations. Johnny closes the breech on the harpoon gun. Buddy turns on the generator. Sam shouts an order to Ole.
Trim your luff. Hold her 1 point into the wind. Full speed ahead.
The Porpoise leaps ahead at Ole's command and plows like a knife through the oncoming waves. The crew of the Porpoise is ready for battle. Sam watches for the killer whale to surface again.
Have you seen him yet, Sam?
Not yet, buddy.
I hope that rascal surfaces near the TNT charges.
There he is. 100 yards outside the TNT floats.
Here we go!
Are you ready, buddy?
I'm ready.
He's the loss in the mine!
Now, buddy, now.
Aye, aye.
Praise the Lord. All right, now, Johnny. Take your time. Fire 3 harpoons without lines.
Aye, aye. Be ready with the reload, buddy.
Let her go.
That's one of them. Number 2. Okay, put a harpoon and a line in and stand by. Ole, come about and bear down.
The killer whale floats unconscious or dead on the surface of the ocean. He's got 3 more harpoons in his side. Now Sam closes in to fire 1 more harpoon with a line attached to the killer whale so he won't sink to the bottom of the sea and be lost. Ole skillfully maneuvers the Porpoise close.
Circle the monster, Ole. We want to be sure he's dead.
Yeah, that's a pretty good idea, Sam. Stand by to come around.
Go ahead, Ole.
Sam, do you think he could be playing possum?
He shouldn't be with half a dozen harpoons in him. But you never know about those rascals.
That's the truth. They're smart. They figure to wait until the enemy gets close enough, and then they let him have it, but good.
Ole's getting ready to come alongside, Johnny. Get your harpoon gun ready. Be sure you've got a line on it, because I don't want to lose this specimen.
Captain, would you man the gun so that I could throw me hand harpoon just once?
Boy, I'd like to see that. Just once.
Sure, Johnny, go ahead. I'll man the gun.
Thanks, Sam. Gotta keep in practice, you know.
Quickly, Ole brings the vessel round so the giant fish lies to the starboard side. The schooner loses speed so quickly under the first mate's experienced handling that the Porpoise is just gliding. Ole doesn't want to snap the harpoon line as they take the monster in tow. Sam now mans the gun, while Johnny has taken his stand over the bow.
Approach to the starboard.
Slacken speed.
Slacken speed. Aye, aye.
Now drift to the starboard.
Aye, aye. Drift to the starboard.
We're in a good position for the shot now, Sam.
Right. And here goes.
Look out, he's alive!
I missed him. Get him, Johnny!
Johnny's overboard!
The crash must have knocked him overboard. Where's the monster?
He sounded, Sam.
Reload the gun, buddy.
What about Johnny? Somebody...
Reload the gun. That's the best way we can help Johnny. Ole, keep the Porpoise close to Johnny. Can you kick a line over the stern?
Aye, I can do that.
There he is. Johnny's in the water on the same side.
Hard over to the port, Ole. Get the monster. Get between the monster and Johnny. Ram that monster if necessary.
Aye, that'll be a pleasure.
Gun loaded?
Sure is.
I've got to get him before he gets Johnny or sinks us. And one good shot will do it.
Sam, the whale's heading straight for Johnny.
I can't get between them, Sam.
Hold her steady. One shot. Just one shot.
Now, Sam.
1 second more.
Get him!
1 second more.
What are you waiting for, Sam?
Now, point blank.
You did it, Sam. You stopped him.
Hey, throw it over!
Yes, Ole. Thank the Lord. The killer whale's dead.
Just a little more, fellas. I'll be able to pull myself.
Oh, you're a dead weight when you're soaking wet.
You said it.
Boy, it's sure good to get my feet on solid deck again.
I can understand how you feel, Johnny. Are you sure you're all right?
Yeah, Captain, that I am. Thanks to you fellas.
Johnny. Hey, Johnny, are you all right?
Yeah, Hazel, I'm fine now.
Oh, I'm so glad. We sure prayed hard for you when you were down in the water.
Oh, I'll say we did. We asked the Lord to keep you safe.
Yeah, you may not believe this, but I knew you were praying for me. That's why I wasn't scared.
I've got the killer whale tied alongside, Skipper.
That's good, Ole. I guess our mission's accomplished. We've got the killer whale, and I think he's going to make a fine specimen for the museum. So I guess it's time for us to head for the harbor. I want Jose and Pedro and all the villagers who were afraid of fishing to see for themselves that the evil one is dead.
Senor Sam, how can we show our gratitude? We are ashamed that we ever doubted you and your crew.
You have done us a great honorable service, my friend.
Thank you for your kind words. However, I couldn't accomplish a thing without the help of the Lord and the cooperation of my splendid crew.
Aye, Captain. You're a thorough Christian. I just hope that some of it'll rub off on me on our way back home.
Johnny, it's the prayer of every one of us that you'll find the Lord as your personal Savior.
Aye, Captain. That's my wish, too. You know, it's funny how small and helpless a man finds himself when he's looking down the throat of a killer whale. Then I realized that I needed the Lord.
Yes, Johnny, some of us have to come close to death to realize we need the Lord. Others don't have to be dealt with so drastically. But we all need him. Perhaps, boys and girls, you need the Savior, too. Won't you open your heart and receive him? It'll make all the difference in the world to you. Well, see you on the quarterdeck again soon for more seafaring thrills with
Sailor Sam!
Stay tuned for the listening post.
Hey, what's this old post?
What's that?
Say, the thing talks.
Sure, I'm the listening post.
The listening post?
Yep. For years and years I've stood in this spot. I've seen much. I've heard much. And in my old wooden heart are stories.
That's right, boys and girls. Stories aplenty, crammed with fun and adventure. Crowd up close now and put your ears to the listening post.
Hi, boys and girls. We're reading My Friend Flicka by Mary O'Hara. Ken, disappointed that he couldn't go with his father and Brother Howard to bring the brood mares and foals up from the meadow, because he had to study, has hidden behind a bush to watch. But he was so tired from the run up there that he fell sound asleep. He woke with a jerk, coming up from such a deep place that it seemed he must have slept for hours. He was bewildered and sat up, trying to gather his wits. Then he remembered and scrambled to his feet. Would he be too late? They might have passed while he was asleep. He ran out from behind the bush, head on into the bunch. The mares were coming up from the meadow, almost noiselessly on the grass, McLaughlin in the rear, and Banner offside in the middle. They were walking as quietly as the cows coming in for milking. In the lead was a powerful, long-legged mare with a shiny black coat. She carried her nose in the air, her wild, staring eyes ringed with white. Rocket, the local mare, daughter of the albino. As Ken shot out from behind the bush, almost colliding with her, she snorted in terror and went straight up on her hind legs. For a moment, Ken was under the dangling black hoofs of her forelegs and smelled the heat of her body. Then she twisted to one side, made a great leap, and shot away. And it seemed to Ken that it was just 100 horses that leaped and scattered after her instead of just 20. The foals were terrified. They wheeled and galloped beside their mothers, holding themselves close as if an invisible cord bound them. Ken could see nothing but the legs and bodies of horses pounding past him and the smaller, shadow-like shapes of the foals. Then he heard his father shouting and the long-drawn cry, "Whoa! Whoa there! Whoa!" That carried so far and had such power to quiet the horses. But this time, it was as if they didn't hear him. Ken ran to a pile of rocks and scrambled to the top so he could see all that happened. Rocket had gone off at an angle to the line of march and was on a dead run, stretched out like a racehorse, with the whole bunch after her. She was heading for the rock slide, a place where the grazing land broke down to the lower levels of the next pasture over a long, curving hill of sheer rock. To go down it on foot, he and Howard had to sit and slide. No horse, not even the most sure-footed, could negotiate that drop. If she went over, she'd go head over heels. She'd roll and bounce to the bottom, and all the others, too, if they followed her. The whole band of mares and colts pitching down, somersaulting, rolling, crashing. "Whoa! Whoa there! Whoa!" McLaughlin's voice rang out like a note of desperation. He was galloping as fast as he could to head off Rocket, but she had a long lead, and Shorty was slow. Ken groaned. The rock slide, that black fury Rocket, running fool, and for once his father's voice powerless. Then Ken saw the big stallion, Banner, shoot out of the crush. His bright chestnut coat was like flame in the sunlight. His feet thundered. "Oh, go it, Banner, go it!" Ken was in agony, dancing up and down on his rock. Banner's ears were flat back. His head dropped low to the ground and elongated so that it seemed an extension of his neck. He had a look of fury. Nothing made the stud so mad as to have a mare break out of the bunch when he was in charge. If he could catch Rocket, he'd have to kill her. The two horses were running at an angle to each other, Banner gaining. They converged near the rock slide. Banner's head was suddenly right over Rocket's, his golden mane mingled with her black mane, his mouth open and his big teeth bared. Suddenly, his jaws snapped, and Rocket gave a furious squeal and stopped with a jar. Banner whirled and lashed, and his heels struck her side with a ringing smack. The other mares telescoped up against them. Then Banner was everywhere at once, biting, driving, wheeling, and kicking the mares back. As they milled around, he dropped his head again and charged them, swinging back and forth in long semicircles, until he had got them turned and moving in the other direction, back up the grazing land towards the road. Not one single mare lost. Not a colt herder crushed. Rocket herself panting and foam-flecked, walking meekly back towards the road. Ken's terror was now for himself. If his father should see him, he might not have. Might have thought it was just something else that scared them, a coyote, or perhaps just Rocket's craziness. He slid down the rock and sat hunched up at the base of it. He was fairly well hidden there, rocks and currant bushes all around him. His hands were cold and trembling with the awfulness of what he'd done, and of what the loss of the brood mares, or even a few of them, would have meant to his father. He could hear the pounding of the horses' hooves going farther away, and He began to breathe more easily. Then a shadow fell on him, and he looked up and saw his father sitting there on Shorty. After one look into the blazing eyes under the down-drawn brim of the Stetson hat, Ken dropped his head and sat silent. I just came to see the horses. McLaughlin said nothing. Ken looked up again, and the look on his father's face made him burn all over. I didn't mean to do it, Dad. I didn't mean to scare him. He wanted to go on and explain that he'd fallen asleep and then run out to see if they'd gone, and Rocket was right there. But there wasn't time. Without a word of answer or blame, McLaughlin wheeled Shorty and went cantering away after the mares. Ken felt as if he had been put out of the ranch, out of all the concerns that Howard was in on, and out of his father's heart. That was the worst. What he was always hoping for was to be friends with his father, and now this, so soon after getting home. His despair made him feel weak. He put his head down on his drawn-up knees, and his hands were clenched tight. After a while, he slid down flat and slept again, a deep, exhausted sleep this time that made up the hours he had lost riding so early that morning. It was long after noon when the faraway cry of a hawk, harsh and sad, drew him up to wakefulness, and he opened his eyes directly into the blue of the sky and saw the hawk wheeling against it. The wind had gone down. The hawk circled and cried again. Ken yawned deeply and lay there, watching the hawk, his arm lying in the currant bush. At last he sat up against the rock. His eyes wandered, taking in everything with an absent, unconscious look. Not 12 feet away, the long neck and head of an ermine came up through a gopher hole at the foot of a rock. The soft fur was dun-colored, like the earth. Except for the little movement, unless you'd been looking right there, you'd never have seen him. It was like a miniature periscope. Neck and head were the same size, as if there were eyes and infinitesimal pair of ears on the neck itself. As it looked around, the whole neck rotated. Presently it was looking right at Ken, seeing him. After a moment's calm inspection, it withdrew its head and disappeared. Ken sat, gathering up the threads that stretched from the events behind him to the events ahead. He would have to meet his father, and everyone. They would all know that he had almost stampeded the mares over the rock slide. Of course, now he couldn't get to be friends with his father, and he wouldn't get a colt this summer. The hawk circled lower and cried again, but Ken didn't hear it. It swung down close, spreading 6 feet of brown feathered wings, curled talons reaching for the rock. As the shadow fell on him, Ken looked up and gave a great start, and the hawk flapped its wings violently and slid off sideways. Ken got to his feet and started home. If he couldn't have a real colt, at least he could have a make-believe. His eyes changed expression. Maybe one like Rocket, black and shiny with her nose up in the air and her tangled mane and tail streaming, and the very wickedness and wildness of her. Or Banner, the gloriousness of his rush after Rocket, the way he made all the mares mind him, the long snaky head, the blazing gold of his hide, as bright as the coals in the stove. Ken's mouth opened a little, smiling. Banner had got his name when he was a 2-month-old colt, on the day that Nell first saw him. She was riding alone on the saddleback one August afternoon, cantering easily, twirling a short strip of soft leather in her right hand. The prevailing southwesterly wind of the Rocky Mountains sang in her ears and moved like a veil between earth and sky. Her white silk shirt filled and ballooned. Her hair was loose and blowing, and the grass on the hillsides leaned and rippled and sprang erect again with an incessant murmuring sound. Hay was being cut somewhere, and the strong aromatic scent of it, the late summer scent of hay and mint and pine and snow, had a keen edge of sweetness to it that hurt her lungs. Miles away, a rancher was shouting at his horses, and the sound drifted to her like an echo, making musical and poignant by the distance. Lost in delight, She swayed a little to the rhythmic thud of her pony's hoofs, and she had such a sensation of lightness, it seemed to her that on this high peak of the divide, the world was curled in a wave, herself carried on the rolling crest of it like foam. Suddenly, the gray gelding she rode pricked his ears. She was approaching the brood mares. Around the shoulder of a hill, she came upon them, already on the alert, facing towards her, heads up nervously. Nell stopped her horse and sat watching. Some of them galloped away, the colts clinging to their mother's sides, then stopped at a distance and turned to stare again. A rich, dark chestnut colt, fearless and adventuresome, broke out of the bunch and came toward her with a long, springing trot. There was a very fury of curiosity and expectation in his lifted head and flaring nostrils. His cream-colored tail was lifted high, pluming out on both sides of him, and with a full, tossing, light mane, he seemed to float on the wind, hung with banners. And so he got his name, and was duly registered and raised to be the stud of Goose Bar Ranch. Banner, out of the Arab mare El Kantara by Hamilcar. With the passing years, his dark chestnut coat had grown lighter, and the blonde tail and mane darker, so that now in full maturity, the stallion was a bright red gold all over. The name still fit him. He had lost nothing of his wild grace and ardor, and trotting still came on the wind, full sail set, head up, and the high, free, springing step. When the moon rose that night, after the long journey with the mares up to the summer range, the stallion was standing, as he often did, on the sharp, rocky peak of one of the hills of the Saddleback, slanted as if on a stair, with 4 feet solid and close together on the summit, his long, gleaming body sloping down, his lofty head and reaching ears, the very picture of kingly power. Round about him and beneath him on all sides was a wider world that even his swiftness could ever need or use. The same world of hills and plains, plateaus and headlands, mesas and mountains that Ken had filled his eyes with that morning. Within a radius of a few hundred yards below him were his 20-odd mares and their foals, now weary from the day's long trek up from the mountains. Some of them were grazing, some lying flat on their sides in an ungainliness of abandon which was grotesque in the mares, but in the foals had a charming helplessness. Cushioned on the springing green grass, earth and horse as close as 2 hands with palms pressed together, they lay sleeping under the eye of the watchful stallion. A sudden thunder on the air and drifted away again. Instantly Banner's head turned and his ears pointed. A mile or more away, the band of yearlings was on the run. Something had startled them, or with their crazy high spirits, they were just tearing around, turning night into day. Closer by, a frightened little whinny shrilled out, not much more than a squeal of alarm. A foal, grazing too far from his mother, had come to with a start, alone and terrified. Banner calmly watched the long-legged youngster while he galloped to one mare after the other, sniffed them, and squealed his disappointment. That's all for now. Bye, boys and girls.
There you are, boys and girls. Listen next time when Flo Schmid comes your way with a story from the Listening Post.
Now it's time for Captain Kids.
Everyone on board the good ship Salvation. It's so good to have you with us today. Well, we have our good friend on board to tell us a story. But first, let's have a fun song about one of our friends on board.
The bear went over the mountain, the bear went over the mountain, the bear went over the mountain to see what he could see. Now all that he could see, now all that he could see was the other side of the mountain, the other side of the mountain, the other side of the mountain was all that he could see.
Why, children, bless your angel bones and then some. This old Uncle Remus, and I say to myself, I say, them children gonna get a story this day. That's what I said. And I come on down here to sit on the back porch of this old place where I live at to tell this story. I've been working with that mule till my back almost busted. I don't know what the poor old mule's back feel like. But I know this, if he were lucky like I is and could have himself a glass of milk and some good bread, then he would know how good it feel to have something that perk him up. Well, I guess we better get along with the telling of that story, as I was going to tell you in the first place about the circus lion. Goodness, I ain't never told no story about no circus lion, and old Brer Fox ain't never seen one, 'cause if I told you a little bit about this story yesterday when I was telling, and if you remembers, and I know that you does, old Brer Fox was powerful upset when he heard about something being turned loose in the forest. Powerful upset. That's what I gonna tell you. And now, if the children ready, and if you done had your milk, which I hope you is, here we go into the land of Brer Rabbit and Brer Fox and them. If y'all remembers at the last telling, old Uncle Remus telling you about how the circus done pull out of the town they was playing in, and the sudden jerk made the big old cage where Mr. Brer Lion was in, made that wagon that he was in fall off the back of the circus train and bust all to pieces. And the lion jumped out the cage and headed for the woods, and didn't nobody miss him or know that he was gone or nothing else till the circus got to the next town and they come out looking for him. But fortunate, like most of them circus lions, this one ain't got a tooth in his head. Not that first tooth. He's that old. And he right good lion, too. Powerful good lion. But when old Brer Fox done see him, Brer Fox throw up his hands and scream and holler and run fast as he can to old Brer Bear's cave. That's what he do. And the two of them in there kind of huddled up together, 'cause old Brer Bear, he powerful scared of that lion, too, 'cause he don't know that lion ain't got no teeth. And he don't know that lion friendly, neither. And neither do Brer Fox. And Sis Crow done see them run in the cave and hide, and she flied over and called them cowards. Come on, let's get on around there, round through the bushes here, and then we go on down the trail, and I'll show you where they is. Come on, children, this way.
Call! 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 Cowards, that what you is, cowards, running and hiding in the cave. Cowards, that what you is, cowards, 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 call, call, call.
And with that, Sis Crow lift herself in the air and fly away. Inside the cave, old Brer Bear and Brer Fox is huddled up close against each other, and Brer Bear's a saying,
"Oh, let me hold you. Oh, man, I ain't never seen nothing as ferocious and mean as that thing is in all of my life put together. Is you, Brer Fox?"
"Don't talk so loud. You the loudmouth is talking loudmouth that I done ever heard. Don't you realize you keep on making all that noise that the first thing you know, that thing gonna know where we is and come over here and yum us up, and that'll be the last of us?"
"Oh, don't you just know it. Oh, that's a mean thing. He can haul off and hit you one time with that paw of his and knock your head spinning down the road like it was a ball that somebody rolled down a bowling alley. I mean, that is, oh, he a big thing. I wonder what he doing in the forest."
"I don't know. That's that we done been so bad and mean that somebody decided it was a good idea to send something like that after us and do away with us."
"Oh, you reckon so? Oh, I would hate to think that my days were going to be ended on this earth by something as big and mean and ferocious as that thing. Has you seen it lately?"
"I ain't seen it lately, no. I seen it just once, and that was enough. And I gonna stay in hiding until the thing done gone. Man, that a terrible-looking thing." And sure enough, old Brer Bear and Brer Fox, they was trembling together inside of the cave. And it was dark in there, too, what I talking about. Every now and then a big old bat would fly out the cave and flutter away like a great big old giant butterfly. And as the evening kept on getting darker, and the sun kept on going down, and the darkness kept on a creeping in, old Brer Fox and Brer Bear was that much scarier. And it won't long before the moon was up like a great big shiny pumpkin way up in the sky. And the brighter the moon got, the scarier old Brer Bear and Brer Fox got, 'cause they were afraid of the moonlight as much as they was of anything else. And Brer Fox was a-saying, "Goodness, that moon is almost worse as the sun. You can see just as good by the moonlight when it's full like that as you can by the sunlight."
Oh, I know, and I just wish that it would get darker. I mean, either that or I don't know what I wish is. Oh, I'm so scared. I don't know what to do. What is I going to do?
I don't know what you're going to do. It's too bad that you just is a coward like Sis Crow say.
Oh, well, how about you?
Well, I'm a coward, too. I admit that. It's too bad that both of us is cowards.
Oh, uh-oh. Is I seeing what I... No. Now, I know I don't see what I seeing. 'Cause if I was to be seeing what I is seeing, I would see little Brer Rabbit walking along with that great big old lime, just as... I believe I do see it, though. If I is really seeing what I seeing down there, Brer Fox, look down below the cliff. If I really seeing what I seeing, that's little Brer Rabbit walking along just as nonchalant as you please with that great big old lion. I mean, that ferocious lion would chew him up with one swallow. I mean, that would be all he'd have to do is gulp him down once, and Brer Rabbit would disappear from the face of this earth forever. I mean, and they walking along together, ain't they?
Yeah. That's what they're doing. That great, big, ferocious lion, the most ferocious thing in the whole world, where it could tear anything apart with just one swap of his leg bone. And there he is down there, that little Brer Rabbit walking along with him, hand in hand. I ain't never seen nothing like this. Well, children, old Brer Fox and Brer Bear is looking with all their eyes. In fact, their eyes is trying to pop out their head bone. That's what they're trying to do, 'cause old Brer Fox ain't never seen nothing like it before. And Sis Crow, she flew back, and she sailed down like a big old glider. And Sis Crow say,
"Caw, caw, 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 caw." There you is. I told you y'all was cowards. Yeah, you's a coward. That little Brer Rabbit ain't no coward, though. He 10 times braver than y'all is. He 100 times braver. He 10,000 million times braver than you is, Brer Fox. You coward. Caw, 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 caw.
and with that, Sis Crow flied away. Old Brer Fox, he just shake his head and he say, "Oh, busybody."
Oh, don't you just know she's a busybody. But she right, though. Little old Brer Rabbit sure is done outbraved us this time. He sure is.
Come on. Let's make our way down to where little Brer Rabbit and that lion is. I ain't letting no rabbit prove that he braver than a fox.
Or a bear, I mean. Go ahead, Brer Fox. Let's do that. Now, you lead the way.
Yeah. Now, wait a minute. Why you want me to lead the way? How come you can't lead the way?
Well, it was your idea, and when somebody got an idea, they're supposed to lead the way. After all, when the general get the idea, it's his idea, and he's supposed to lead the way.
Generals don't lead the way. What the matter with you? They gets the ideas, but they sends the men on ahead. Now go on, Brer Bear, and I'll follow.
Oh, can't you just feel it? Tell it. Okay then, let's go, boy.
And sure enough, down the hill they started. Old Brer Fox following Brer Bear. And what happened after that? Oh, I know you're gonna love the next story when we talks with Brer Rabbit and that lion. Yes, indeed, that Mr. Lion is gonna sure scare old Brer Fox clean out his senses at the same time tomorrow. Until then, thank you for today. Bless your angel heart, and goodbye, everybody.
Well, Brer Fox and Brer Bear were so surprised to see Brer Rabbit and Brer Lion walking together. Brer Rabbit was braver than Brer Bear. Make sure to be listening to the next part of this story next time.
must be sunbeams for Jesus.
Matthew 9:2-8. And behold, they brought to him a man sick with the palsy, lying on a bed. And Jesus, seeing their faith, said unto the sick of the palsy, Son, be of good cheer, thy sin be forgiven thee. And behold, certain of the scribes said within themselves, This man blasphemeth. And Jesus, knowing their thoughts, said, Wherefore think ye evil in your heart? For whether it's easier to say, Thy sin be forgiven thee, or to say, Arise and walk. But that he may know that the Son of Man had power on earth to forgive sins. Then said he to the sick to the palsy, Arise, take up thy bed, and go into thy house. And he arose and departed to thy house. And when the multitude saw it, they marveled and glorified God, which had given such power unto men. A hurting friend. Ow! It hurts! My arm hurts so bad. Hearing his friend's voice, Jeremy looked towards the swing. He saw Matt biting his lips as he tried to squeeze tears back into his eyes. Jeremy jumped off the monkey bars and ran to his friends. Did you fall? He asked. Matt nodded and clutched his injured arm. Don't worry, it'll be okay. Jeremy comforted him. Come on, I'll take you to the nurse. Clumsily, Jeremy grabbed Matt's arm and started towards the school building. Soon Matt was on his way to the doctor's office, where a cast was put on his hand. That evening, Jeremy told his dad about Matt. I was kinda scared. I wasn't sure I knew where the nurse's office was, he said, but I'm sure glad I could help Matt. Why did you help him? Dad asked. Jeremy looked startled. Because he was hurt, he said. I wouldn't be much of a friend if I just left him there. Isn't Matt the friend you told me about last week? Asked Dad. The one who doesn't go to church or Sunday school? Jeremy nodded. Have you invited him to come with you? Asked Dad. No, admitted Jeremy. He said his dad told him he doesn't believe in God and that church is for sissies. I was afraid Matt would laugh at me for going. You took Matt to the nurse's office right away because you cared about your friend and didn't want him hurt, said Dad. Do you care about him enough to tell him about Jesus or to bring him to Sunday school so he could learn about Jesus there? I guess I could try, said Jeremy. We don't like to think about it, said Dad. But the fact is that those who do not accept Jesus will be punished in hell, where they'll be hurt forever and ever. Oh, Dad, said Jeremy, I don't want Matt to burn in hell forever. I know you don't, said Dad. Let's pray right now and ask God to show you a way to bring your friend to Jesus. Shall we? Jeremy nodded, and together they bowed their heads to pray. How about you? You would immediately help a friend who was physically hurt, wouldn't you? It's sometimes harder to see when people hurt spiritually, but if they don't know Jesus, their need is great. When Jesus lived on earth, he was concerned about both the physical and spiritual condition of people. You should be too. Ask God to show you how to help your friends. Matthew 28:19. Therefore, go and make disciples of my nation.
Well, I hope you're a good friend to your friends and that you are a friend indeed. You know, there is someone who wants to be your friend. He loves you, and he loves me too.
I found a friend, oh, such a friend. He loved me ere I knew him. He drew me with the cords of love, and thus he bound me to him. And round my heart still closely twined those ties which naught can sever. For I am his and he is mine,
A Friend in Need. As our story opens, Kathy Gray has just come home from school. She seems in a big hurry to talk to Mother about something.
Mother, where are you?
I'm here in the living room, dear.
Mother, you'll never guess what happened.
Then you'll have to tell me, Kathy. It must be exciting
It
to
isn't
have you...
exciting, Mother. It's awful. You'll never believe it.
Well, tell me what it is.
Yesterday was Linda's birthday, and her aunt in Australia sent her £5 in British money. It was in 5 one-pound bills, just like our dollar bills. You should see them.
I have seen one, Kathy. But what's so dreadful about it?
Well, her mother wouldn't let her take them to school, so Linda asked some of us to come to her house after school to see them.
Oh, and what happened?
There was Jane, Sarah, Tom, Jerry, and I. Linda let me read the card. Her aunt had a note on it saying she could either keep or spend the money. Then Linda let us pass the bills around to see them. Jane said her mother had warned her to be home early, so she only stayed a minute. The rest of us stayed a while longer. Then when we were ready to leave, we gave the money back to Linda, and do you know what?
No, what?
Well, there was one missing. £1 was missing. There were only 4 of them, and we knew she had 5 because the card even said so. All of us were surprised at Jane.
At Jane? Why were you surprised at Jane?
Mother, none of us had the money, and Jane had left.
Kathy, do you realize what you're saying? Isn't Jane your friend? Well, I never believed such a thing of her.
Mother, I didn't want to believe it either. I told Linda that I never thought Jane would do anything like that, but...
Well, as Jane's friend, you should have told Linda that you knew she wouldn't do it. She isn't the kind of a girl who would steal. I know she didn't take that money.
Mother, you think I don't love Jane. I do. I know she's a nice girl, or I wouldn't have her for my friend. But just the same...
You don't sound as though you're her friend.
Well, even your friends have to admit when you do wrong.
Yes, that's true, when you do wrong. Now, did you see Jane take that money?
Of course not. People don't let you see them steal.
Well, did you ever see Jane take anything that didn't belong to her?
No, that's why I'm so surprised at her.
And I'm surprised at you, Kathy. What makes you think Jane took that money today?
Because it was gone.
Suppose you were Jane. Would you want to be accused just because you were the one who left early?
But, Mother, you just don't understand. What else could we think when the money is gone? Linda had the money, and now she hasn't.
Did she call Jane and ask her about it?
No, she said she would wait until her mother came home and ask her what to do about it.
Well, all I have to say is this. I don't know where the money is or who took it, but I'm sure that Jane didn't. And furthermore, I'm ashamed of you, Kathy, for not defending her. As her friend, you should have stood by her. She needed your friendship today more than she ever did, and you failed her. I'm sure she would have defended you.
I know what you mean, Mother. At first I didn't want to believe it either. But what could I say when the money was gone, and Jane was, too?
What would you have said if Jane had been right there?
Oh, you made me feel terrible.
You should feel terrible. And you're going to feel even worse when the truth comes out. The Bible says, a friend loveth at all times. You haven't done that.
But I do love Jane. Even if she has made a mistake, I still love her.
And if Jane could hear you accusing her of stealing, I'm sure she would have trouble believing that you love her. Don't you think so, Kathy?
I guess maybe she would. But tell me, Mother, if Jane doesn't have the money, where else could it be? We searched all around for it.
No, I don't know where it could be. Let's not discuss it anymore. You'd better hurry if you're going to the library. It will be closing, and the books are due today.
Oh, I forgot about them. Mother, would you mind? Could I finish supper while you take the books back?
Why do you ask that, Kathy?
I just would rather not go. I'll get it. Hello? Oh, yes. Well, I'm afraid that I might be late. Well, you'd better go without me. No, you better not wait. Well, I'll see you tomorrow.
Was that Jane?
Yes.
And you won't even walk to the library with her? Kathy, how could you?
Well, if Linda or the other kids see me walking with her, what will they think?
I'm wondering what Jane will think when she sees you walking to the library alone. Here you are. Take these books and go right now. You'll have to explain your actions to Jane the best way you can.
Please, Mother, I don't want to hurt Jane's feelings.
No, not openly, but you are hurting her just the same. All of you are judging her unfairly. Jesus said that we should judge one another the way we want to be judged.
I know. Oh, this is spoiling everything. I wish I hadn't even gone to see Linda's gift.
I'm glad that I didn't go. I might have had to hurry away.
Mother, why did you say that? You know that I would never accuse you of stealing.
Kathy, I'm trying to show you how important it is to be a true friend. If you or I had been the first to leave Linda's house, there would still have been the missing money to account for.
That's true. I wish now that I had defended Jane. I feel guilty about it. Should I call Linda and tell her that I'm sure Jane wouldn't steal?
Well, that might help, but I want you to take these books back first, and you'd better hurry.
Kathy, wait for me!
I thought you couldn't come right away.
Well, I didn't expect you, Jane, but Mother wanted me to hurry.
I'm glad you did come. I hate to walk alone.
So do I. Here comes Linda. Hi, Linda.
Hi, Kathy. Hi, Jane. Are you going to the library?
Yes.
Where are you going? Out to spend your 5 pounds? Oh, no. I'm going to keep those for a long time. My mother even likes to show it. She took one with her this afternoon to show her friends.
Oh, then you know what happened to it?
Yes. You should have seen us, Jane. We were looking all over the house for one of the bills, and here my mother had taken it with her. Really? You must have felt relieved when she brought it home. I sure did. I couldn't imagine what had happened when I saw one of my bills was missing.
Didn't you get any books, Kathy?
No, Mother. I was in a hurry to get home. I met Jane, and Linda came, too.
Well, that must have been interesting. How did you and Linda handle that?
Linda found her money. Her mother had taken one with her to show some friends. It was missing when we got there. Oh, Mother, I'm so ashamed of myself. I hope Jane never learns that I doubted her.
So do I, dear. She needed your friendship this afternoon.
I see that now. Next time I'll remember that a friend loveth at all times. And Mother, thank you for being a true friend to me and not turning against me when I really was wrong.
Yes, the Lord Jesus Christ came all the way from his wonderful home in heaven and died for your sins on the cross of Calvary. He wants to be your friend. Is he your friend? The Lord Jesus Christ laid down his life for his friends. He loved you and cares for you. He can change your life and make you different.
I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. No turning back, no turning back. Though none go with me, still I will follow. Though none go with me, still I will follow. Though none go with me, still I will follow. No turning back, turning back. Following Jesus ever day by day, nothing can harm me when he leads the way. Sunshine or shadow, whatever befall, Jesus, my Savior, is my all in all. Jesus, my Savior, is my all in all.
When the Lord Jesus Christ lives in your heart, He makes you a different person. The things you used to do, you don't do anymore. He makes you completely different. This is your teacher Francine saying, see you next time with all the Captain's kids. Goodbye.
Yeah.